Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, I have no conceptions, preconceived or other, that getting down off the rostrum to come down and speak to people is going to make a huge difference. But I do think that this is an important enough issue for me personally that I had to come down. You know, I spoke this morning about my great hopes of this legislative body, working together here to set the tone for the next 2 years of the 131st legislature. And I am very frustrated by where we find ourselves tonight. On the verge of having enactment in this body of a package that would help thousands of people across this state. And regardless if you like it or don't, that is a clear fact that thousands of people will be helped by our actions here tonight. And letting that go, I do think, is going to be a travesty that it will be hard to overcome. This is not a package that I love 100%, but it was a package that was worked on. And let's let the campaign go. If we don't like the chief executive, that's fine. But no one threw this on to us. This was an opportunity by the administration to do something meaningful to help the people in this state, which I appreciated very much, having fought with the chief executive probably more than anyone in this chamber. But the idea that people in this state would get assistance in a time that they very much needed is something that I will hold very dear. Now, I spoke this morning about the concerns that I would have for people across this state, not just in my district, but across this state. And the real feelings that I have on this issue. When I talked about worrying about oil furnaces shutting down, that's something that makes my heart beat now. Because I know the only thing that was hard for me today to talk about that was the fact that my parents were sitting in front of me. And any ashamedness that they might have felt about that period in my life. But the idea that we would be at night waiting for the furnace to come on, and every time wondering if that was the last time it came on, is something that I can't get out of my heart today. Something that I know that people across this state are going to feel. It's something that we will deal with. And you know what is worse? The people that will have to deal with this and will come up with some harebrained scheme to heat their homes because they don't have the heating fuel, because they don't have the electric, because they don't have the firewood, and they concoct something that will cause a fire and probably carbon monoxide death. And that, you all know, regardless of what you think of me, will happen. And when we talk about process, I completely disagree. Yes, it is different. It's not the norm. But we have taken these issues up before to try and make things happen in a timely manner because of what was in front of us. I mean, what is in front of us is a winter that we know what it's like in Maine, with unreasonable costs across this state, across this country for heating fuel and other things. And I think that is an opportunity to have a different process to make sure that people in this state are taken care of. Coming in earlier, I heard about, was absolutely not an option. If I had called for people to come in earlier, I know for a fact that we would never have gotten the votes to come in before election, nor would it have mattered because the revenue forecast didn't come in until just a week ago. When we talk about, we could have had different things, well, we just found out that $280 million was available to us to go forward in this package. And bipartisan I mean, we've changed this numerous times. I mean, it isn't a package with new programs. It's all the same programs that we've had. LIHEAP, rental assistance. You may not like those programs. I understand that. But they're not new. They're not something the public doesn't understand. And as far as the $450 checks, I mean, that is just a continuation of the $850 checks that we did in the last supplemental budget. And so much so that when it was asked to get to the very same income levels that we did for $850 checks in this one, we agreed. And that is a part of the bipartisan compromise that, while yes, short, was certainly happening and offered to people to try and make this better. And now here we are at the very end of this session with that opportunity. And I just can't stress what a big deal I believe this is for the people of the state of Maine. I mean, we have that opportunity to help. It isn't the end-all, be-all, but it is a help for people that we all know is going to do that. And finally, I mean, there's people that you work with in this body that you come to respect, you come to understand. You may even disagree with them 95% of the time, but you come to respect them. And I listened to the representative from Waterford, Representative Millett, speak in the other chamber. I actually heard a lot of great speeches about this. But I heard a man that I've known since I first got here, and everyone knows, talk about the process. And I don't think there's anyone that respects the process more than Representative Millett. And how it made more sense to go out and help the people in this state than to get bogged down in a process that he has come to embody for years and years and years. Now, if we can't take someone like that's word for how it's more important to do this today than to worry about the process, then I really am not sure, what this institution means. I mean, I believe in the process, 100%. But I also, more than the process, I believe in doing the right thing for people. And this, I know with every bit of my soul, is the best process that we have in front of us, or will have by waiting for a public hearing at some other time. And that's just why I thought it was, well, I guess maybe for my own conscience, it was best to come down and say that. And I implore you to do the right thing. Help the people of the state of Maine, yours and mine. It is the thing that we should be doing. And we can work on all the other things that we know is going to be important in the days to come forward.